in order to do business with you. They break open your house one time, they rape your mother, they rape your father, they rape your brother, they rape your sister, they rape your auntie, they rape your auntie, they rob you of all your jewels, they take your car if you have a license firearm, they take your firearm and they go on with that. And those that are supposed to vote for this bill, for the next year, you all are pleased and it's okay with that. What are they smoking? You cannot come and tell Saieed, well, hear this now. Saieed, mass mandatory, here we go. It come to an end. And then you come and tell me, here we go on Saieed. If you go to the supermarket, the grocery, or the malls, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you go in a pharmacy, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you're traveling, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the transportation hub, you have to wear your mask. If you're going to church side, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the school side, you're wearing your mask. If you go to a barber salon, you go to the theater, you're wearing your mask. Which dum-dum in Trinidad and Tobago will go in a theater and buy a popcorn and a juice and sit down and wear a mask? Thanks! If every councillor go through their constituency, do video clips like this and send it for us, I'm gonna be so happy just to play it on our program on a Wednesday night. You know why I would be happy? I will be filled with joy in my heart. You know why? Because the councillor is getting off their butts and they are actually going and doing some live video shoots. Real Talk took the initiative to find out suppliers of wheat in the world that National Flour Mill could go to. So now Romano is saying the company is not going to raise any price in the near future. Why? Why? Is it because the S-boss and they realize now that, hey, it is in the public domain that we could go right Mexico and buy flour and wheat? We could go right China and buy wheat? I am about change. And thus far, Real Talk is very effective in Trinidad and Tobago coming towards making changes for the citizens. Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez have urged the population to appreciate and be grateful for the availability of the utilities. This, as Gonzalez recalled, time in his life when he had to fetch water using a bucket from a nearby river. Gonzalez, I want you to understand something. I want you, Mr. Gonzalez, to understand something. You are being paid thousands of dollars by public utility, by the finance ministry, to govern WASA. Come on. To govern WASA, I want you to understand that you ain't going in no office for no free code. You are being paid. Do not tell me that I, Saieed, have to be grateful for the water I get it. Let me tell you something, Gonzalez. Every 4 months, I have to pay $400 and I get water once a bloody month. So don't come on a media briefing and say, Saieed, you have to be contented. You have to be happy. Marvin, the next best thing for you to do is to resign and get the hell out of here.
gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. It's Thursday in Trinidad and Tobago, viewers. A lot has happened in the last few days between the UNC, between the PNM, between ministers, between citizens, between police, between the hospital, the Coast Guard. Too many things have been happening to little Trinidad and Tobago, which were once the little Dubai in the Caribbean. So viewers, it's election fever is in the air. The 28th of April, I believe, is election. Both parties are campaigning, UNC, PNM, heavy campaigning throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Plus, there are other parties that are going up for election also. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, here's some news for you. The UK government will be increasing the fees for visa and application made outside the UK for entry and transit beginning on April 9th. The increase will range from $37.80 to $907.20. Imagine that, eh? But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, the increase in fees comes weeks after the announcement on March 12th that T&T nationals need to apply for visa to visit the UK with immediate effect. British High Commissioner to TT, John Dean, in a video on social media, said there will be a 6 weeks transition window expiring on April 23rd for those who have already booked trips and received their electronic travel authorization, the ETAs, to travel to the UK without a visa. A 6 months multiple entry visa for the UK will now cost $1,225, an increase of $113.40 from the original price of $1,086.75. So Trinidad and Tobago citizens, if you need to go to the UK, call your travel agent and they will give you additional info concerning this. So viewers, what do you have to say about the $1 million that were given to the diver's family? What do you all think about that? Is that fair? A payment of $1 million will be made to the families of 4 LMCS divers who died during the Paria diving tragedy in 2022, as well as the lone survivor, Christopher Boudram. The statement was made by Prime Minister Stuart Young during a post-cabinet briefing earlier today. Stuart Young.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago is going to make an ex gratia payment, which means without any admission of liability, but recognizing the difficulty and the trauma and the tragic circumstances of these divers. And we're going to make ex gratia payments of $1 million to each of the families of the deceased divers and to Mr. Boudram in an ex gratia manner without any admission of liability. So at least the families would be able to get some measure. There is no compensation. There is no financial compensation that can compensate for the loss of life in those circumstances.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, on the 25th of February 2022, Saieed Ali Jr., Yusuf Henry, Rishi Nagisa, and Faisal Kuban, and Christopher Boudram were sucked into a 36-inch pipeline from a hyperbaric chamber while working for Paria Fuel Company Trading Limited and Land and Marine Contracting Service Limited. Investigators deemed the incident to have resulted from gross and criminal negligence. Boudram survived, but the others died. When asked why the decision was made after 3 years and what was happening with the time period, this is what Minister Young had to say.
We had a commission of inquiry. There was full participation by the government. We made sure that all of the facts were put there. There was a report. And the government has remained engaged. But ultimately, I can't force the insurers. I can't force the lawyers to do something that we all knew as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago we would have liked to have been done a long time ago, which is to assist the families financially. It will never be enough to compensate them. At the end of the day, there are companies involved. There's Paria involved, there's LMCS involved. Those are the two companies. They are the ones who had the responsibility to deal with the matter. What I'm now saying is the cabinet has decided, whilst you all are dealing with your legal wranglings, this is what we can do. And that is what has happened today.
Young acknowledged that some might see the payment as politically motivated given the upcoming general election on the 28th of April, but he rejected the notion. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, from the 25th of February 2022 to present, we're in 2025. It's April the 3rd, 2025. So 2 years have passed. $15 million have spent in an investigation to give the divers $1 million each. So that is $4 million for the 4 families. Good? $15 million have spent. $15 million of taxpayers' money. 15. Taxpayers' money. $15 million to give out $4 million. So is there some sort of legal way for the time frame that have been passed that Trinidad and Tobago can get back $10 million of taxpayers' money? Does that make sense? The math's not smart. How did I say it? The math's not mathsing. $15 million spent of taxpayers' money for 2 years to give the family $1 million each. This is why we will always remain a bloody hell third world country. Imagine that. Call a good night. Hello? Hello? Stick your get the click one time. So viewers, you be the judge. You tell me. We have a next call? Call a good night. Hello? Hello?
Hi, good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Government, shame 3 years now. Just imagine on the 2 weeks from now, on the eve of election, when you bring just $1 million. $1 million per family. Wickedness in this PNM. And all you have to go, right? All you have to go. Look how long people crying out to get a little money for the family. You take 3 years to do that and $1 million. All you wicked set of people.
Thank you, my dear. It's stinking sad. People could say what they want. $15 million of taxpayers' money spent. It's spent. Are we, the taxpaying citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, going to recover anything from that investigation? Tell me. Call a good night. Hello?
Saeed, good night.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Saeed, you remember 3 years ago when I called into your program and I said that will be swept under the carpet. It it was swept under the carpet, Saeed.
Yes?
Now they're looking for votes.
Correct.
Dogs and them looking for votes. Or you treat people like dirt.
Yes.
Children suffer for 3 years. Stuart Young, you letting Rowley do his dirty work. Why you dirty in your hand when he play Pontius Pilate and wash his hand and gone? He have you doing his dirty work. It have a God above, you know. There's a God above. These people suffer in that pipeline. Said we spoke about that time and time and time. It had commission of inquiry. Everything was supposed to be paid and settled. Where's OSHA? Where the OSHA law? OSHA. Where the union people?
Correct.
Where is everybody? Nobody. You know why? Because Rowley is the dictator. Rowley and his comrades, because all of them who in charge in that place there, and Rowley's partisan. Everybody playing golf and drinking fine wine, having a good time.
Yes.
People die. People died. They wasn't sick. They died. They were suctioned in a pipe and leave their children and their wives to suffer. You call them in Whitehall. Side, you remember when he called them in Whitehall? Mama guide them. And what they got, Saeed?
Nothing.
Nothing. And this is what we've been going through with the PNM. As Mrs. Prasad Bisesa said, as she wins election, the first set of people she's going to pay is those deceased family. And they didn't get 1 million. Each of them supposed to get $3 million a year each.
Correct.
$1 million a year for the time they're waiting and suffering and hungry. And the children can't see to go to school and have a nice life because their daddy's gone in a pipeline. Why Stuarty and all of them having fun? 50 million entertainment. Take that in your way, Saeed.
Yes.
Right? But all you want to get them $1 million can't mind them. They need 3 million to start. 3 million each to start. And every year they get another million until all the family die out. Then that will be justice. Saeed, have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Same to you, my dear. Moving along. Prime Minister Stuart Young have stated that the Minister of Trade will soon meet with the U.S. Embassy to gather more facts on the 10% tariff baseline tax. Young said it is every country right to impose tariff. Listen to this.
Been in constant contact with the Minister of Trade, the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, and in fact, this morning asked that the Minister of Trade meet with the United States government personnel in Trinidad at the U.S. Embassy to gather more information and facts. If you look on at the news across the world, I have been seeing other world leaders in a similar position to myself. I saw the Prime Minister of Australia responding that this has been imposed. I think for Trinidad and Tobago, fortunately, it is at the lowest baseline, 10%. I saw our neighbours, Guyana, got an imposition of 38%, and there are various staggering rates across the world.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago. This after President Donald Trump yesterday declared a 10% baseline tax on imports from all countries and a higher tariff rate on dozens of nations that run trade surpluses, with the United States threatening to end much of the architecture of the global economy and trigger border trade wars. Trinidad and Tobago was among the Caribbean members slapped with a 10% baseline tax. However, Guyana was hit with the highest tariff in the region of 38%. Neighbor Venezuela, 15%. The PM stated that this is not a blanket tariff and there will be exceptions. Listen to this.
A blanket, it does not appear to be a blanket tariff of 10% on all goods exported from Trinidad and Tobago into the United States. There are, it appears, certain exceptions. So we're currently studying that. Right now at 2 p.m., the Minister of Trade and Industry will be meeting with the United States personnel at the U.S. Embassy to start gathering more information so we can see how this may impact us. From a logical point of view, the wide-ranging imposition, meaning many countries across the world, some with higher rates than others, it does not appear on the initial face of it that it makes things less competitive, because if everybody's starting off at a baseline, it means everybody increases. But it is premature for me to say anything at this stage as to the specifics of Trinidad and Tobago, because there are exceptions and we're still gathering information. And of course, there is an opportunity for conversation with the United States.
Caller, good night.
Yes, good night.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead, I'm listening to you.
Yes, I am calling from Point Fortin.
Welcome, Point Fortin.
Yes,
Listen to
since
your
last
phone,
year,
not the television.
October. You hear me?
Listen to your phone and not the television. Hello?
Yeah, you hear me?
Go right ahead, yeah.
Since last year, October, I was in the URP. Up to now, in April, I haven't even received any salary from the URP. Right? And next thing, the jobs down here, you're catching in and to get jobs in Point Fortin. They're employing the family, the close friend. You understand? You're asking all years. How much years they're asking for job, you're not getting it. They're employing the close family, close friend. By the time for election now, a bunch of PNM thrown up by your doorstep. That's real sickening. And I just come on this platform to say Point Fortin need to wake up and smell the morning coffee. Because PNM and Point Fortin don't like us. They have a bunch of hypocrites. The only concern with the well-being of the family and the close friends. People who have subject nothing, you're not getting nothing. We like dog underneath the PNM. If you understand what I'm saying, Point Fortin, people need to wake up. That is my input tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to hear what Young had to say concerning Commonwealth election observers coming when we return.
We'll be right back.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Realtalk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Realtalk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Realtalk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Welcome back.
So viewers, remember Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit. Remember this, Trinidad and Tobago, we are the only financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago that is paying 5% on a fixed deposit with your interest up front. Remember that, viewers, your interest will be paid up front. You do not have to wait 5 years to collect your interest. Remember that. So viewers, you don't have to wait 5 years to collect your interest. You come on down, you set up your fixed deposit, you organize. If it's a check, you wait for 7 days. Once your check is cleared, it is legit, the office will call you and you're going to come collect your interest. Imagine, if you invest $100,000 for 5 years, it's $25,000 up front you're getting. So you could do what you want. You could pay down on a car. You could go for a vacation. You could renovate the home. You could pay medical bills. You could pay all your utility bills for the rest of the year. For a few years, imagine that. Where you getting it? Only at Real Talk Financing. Remember that. Also, viewers, we have the indemnity plan available at Real Talk Credit Union. Also, be a member of the Real Talk Credit Union. Buy shares. Open a savings account for your friend, your family, your neighbor. Indemnity plan is something that you should invest in. So viewers, it is available now at the Real Talk Credit Union. Step by step, we are getting all our documents that is required for a human being in Trinidad and Tobago to benefit. Just now we could be selling US currency. They're just a heads up. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, Real Talk Financing is the way to go when you want to make an investment. Now, I just always tell people, you already work hard and you have your money. You set aside your money. Take your money now and put it where you're getting the best interest rate. Let your money work for you. You already work for your money. But now it's time that your money needs to work for you. And we're going to get the best opportunity at Real Talk Financing, where your money is working for you, where on a fixed deposit, where on the highest interest rate in Trinidad and Tobago, where you're getting upfront interest at Real Talk Financing. So viewers, our numbers will come on screen shortly, viewers. Remember, call the numbers, set up an appointment, all our locations, all our numbers are there. We open from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Remember that, Trinidad and Tobago. When you want a steal of a deal, when you want the best, there's no other place to go other than Real Talk Financing. So viewers, there you have it. So as we continue our program tonight, caller, good night.
Night, Mr. Said. Great program as usual.
Thank you, my friend.
And for many of your supporters who cannot get through to your program, they know I will get through from time to time. They say showers of praises to your program, the great program you have, Real Talk. And they want you to know that everybody looks at your program. Nobody looks at any other channel on evenings except Real Talk. Your program is so great. They say to let you know, even Stevie Wonder look at your program also. And the Archbishop of this country, 2 weeks ago at the PNM Interfaith Service, he highlighted injustice in this country wherever you look, and discrimination. I don't know if you saw that
yes.
at the interface. So he got that from Real Talk, because never in this country people were so outspoken about discrimination and injustice in this country. So you pat yourself, man, showers of praises to you, and you are so blessed to have a program. Even Pastor Dutton, that very renowned pastor, is talking out openly about these ills in society. And the opposition is also looking at your program, because they spoke about they spoke about injustice and so on, and they also spoke about the ticketing, the issue where as you come out of your house, police ticket you, and how they're going to deal with that. Police wasting time ticketing the citizens of this country. They got that from your program, and these injustices were never spoken about openly in this country except on Real Talk. You started it, Mr. Said. Great is you, Saieed Ali, and your program Real Talk, and this country will fix. My brother, keep up the great work you are doing. God bless you and your staff.
Thank you, my friend. So Trinidad and Tobago, as we continue, Prime Minister Stuart Young have stated that the Commonwealth has committed to sending an observer or observers mission to Trinidad and Tobago for the 28th of April general election, and was happy with the progress thus far. He also stated that the government has written to the Carter Center inviting them to send an observer or a representative to Trinidad and Tobago. Listen to this.
The second thing is, we had also discussed the independent observers, international observers coming. I told you all on the last occasion for the election, which as we all know is on the 28th of April. The CARICOM Secretariat had responded because my predecessor, Dr. Rowley, had written to them and begun conversations in November last year, but written to them in December, indicating we're going into an election year and we'd like CARICOM observers here for our elections. I had told the population last week with specificity that what the date was for that, and that they had responded via letter now that we had an election date. I can report today, and I'm quite happy with this progress, that as I told you, we wrote to the Commonwealth Secretariat on the 19th of March asking for assistance and that they send a team of observers for the elections. Initially, because of funding, it was a bit uncertain, but I'm happy to report that on the 25th of March, the Right Honourable Patricia Scotland, King's Counsel, Baroness Scotland, wrote back to me as Prime Minister on the 25th of March and congratulated me on my appointment. And she then went on to confirm that she's pleased to advise that they will deploy a Commonwealth mission, and the Secretariat will be in touch with the government to coordinate planning and deployment. So I can confirm now that the Commonwealth Secretariat, the Commonwealth, will be observing our elections in the build-up to the 28th of April and on the 28th of April. We have also written to the Carter Center requesting that they send observers as well, and we're still waiting a response from there, but I've asked the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs to follow up with them.
Well, that's what he said. But nevertheless, the PM cited a cabinet meeting on April 17, 2019, when he was then Minister of National Security, spoke about a plan for the Venezuelan migrant registration program. Now, Young said this was done as a humanitarian gesture and stressed that none of these Venezuelan citizens who are registered under the migrant registration program are going to have any legal rights towards residency or the ability to vote in the upcoming general election. Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this.
See, what that means in layman terms is that we did this as a humanitarian gesture. The Venezuelans, the 16,000 odd Venezuelans who registered in that period of time, do not get any rights in law that can be equated towards them getting residency, which then affects your right or your ability to vote in Trinidad and Tobago. So nothing in this program, and you've recently seen a notice come out from the Ministry of National Security in the past few days of a decision that we took a few weeks ago. We have been continuing and extending this registration program since it was first done, by 6-month intervals, by 12-month intervals, because we continue to assist in that humanitarian way. None of these Venezuelan citizens who are registered under the migrant registration program are going to have any legal rights towards residency or the ability to vote in the upcoming elections. So please ignore that intentional misinformation by those opposed to good governance in Trinidad and Tobago.
So viewers, listen to this. Prime Minister Stuart Young have stated that the government, the central bank, and the country's top banking executive are exploring a certain possibility to resolve Trinidad and Tobago long-standing foreign exchange availability crisis. Listen to this.
So this week on Tuesday, I chaired a meeting with the Minister of Finance, the Minister in the Ministry of Finance, as well as the Central Bank and the Bankers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, and the various chairmen and CEOs of the financial institutions that are the major traders in foreign exchange. The meeting was quite a productive one. We had a very open and frank conversation. I made it known that this government was concerned about the average citizen. And why is it that the average citizen cannot go to the bank and get access to a reasonable amount of US foreign exchange? And how is it being allocated? We understand that there's been a reduction in the supply, the inflow of foreign exchange. Some of the items that came up for discussion is a grey market that exists out there. Some of the illegal activity, for example, that may be taking place out there that affects foreign exchange.
Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this, Remember, I told you, people have been telling me, Saeed, we're lining up in the bank, and when we go to the counter, we're getting $200 and $300 US. Said, okay, no problem. So I went myself to Scotiabank, we have a company account, and I reached there 7:30, 20 to 8. Line up, 1 to 10. Ain't say nothing. Went in the bank, 200. Flying out at Trinidad and Tobago, 300, 400. Imagine that. That's where you're getting. Me say nothing. A few days back, my company had to wire 50,000 US to a company in Japan. 50,000 US. I got. When I sent in the invoice to the bank, I got 3,500 US on a $50,000 US invoice. Imagine that. Imagine that. What I gonna say? I can't say nothing, but I'll just let you all know the reality of how it is out there. How it is. And for me to buy US now, I pay $750 outside of the bank just to get the US to keep my business running. Imagine that, But nevertheless, according to Young, hopefully we will see some changes coming. Now, the PM also raised the issue of the fees and charges that Trinidad and Tobago commercial banks require their customers to pay. He pointed out that the banks are closing down branches, shrinking their retail banking service, and encouraging their customers to use their online service. Those decisions, the Prime Minister said, should result in cost deduction. Listen to this.
Another matter that we discussed was the bank charges. And this is something that is not unique to Trinidad and Tobago at all. In fact, I had mentioned it to Prime Minister Motley before, because she also had tackled this issue, because bank charges, service charges are affecting all of us as citizens who bank. And again, one of the main people that are affected by this are average citizens, because they feel the pinch the most. So I raised this, made it very clear to the bankers what our views are on it. I heard them say that it is the investment in infrastructure and the upgrade of software. I said, but okay, but as a citizen, I see that you're closing down retail banking, you're shrinking your retail banking services, which mean a reduction in cost. You're moving away from paper, which to me logically also means a reduction in cost. So therefore, why are we not seeing the efficiency of online services equating into lower charges and lower expenses to us, the citizens? I then asked that the central bank, the Bankers Association, the banks, continue to have dialogue with the Minister of Finance, Minister Vishnu Danpal, and the Ministry of Finance. And I told them we will be meeting again 2 Wednesdays from now. So not the coming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, because the government intends to address this situation. And of course, we have certain powers in law, but I'm hoping we don't have to reach to that stage.
So Trinidad and Tobago, well, if let's joke, I want you to listen to this final video of Stuart Young. And then, when we come back from our break, we will talk. But listen to this video.
We will come back and report on that. What was very interesting in the meeting, the Minister of Finance is here, is when I was probing and putting pressure on those who have the responsibility. A certain possibility came up, which I immediately pounced on, and I said, let us explore that. I would like to find that solution. We're not going to get more foreign exchange. So if we're only earning $10 million, $10 million US dollars, that is what we have to distribute amongst and as equitably as possible amongst the population. So that's why I told them I want to focus on the average citizen. So I've asked the Minister of Finance, the Ministry of Finance, and the Central Bank to work along to look at the various options and come back next week Wednesday. So as we progress, I will always come and report. I don't want to be premature, but I'm hopeful that there's something there that we may be able to do.
We'll be right back.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtor Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtor Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
You a curveball and you need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Real Talk. So we have two persons of interest to highlight tonight, viewers, but while we're putting that in place, listen to this. There's an outbreak of malaria. Some say throughout Trinidad and Tobago, but it's not throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Let me tell you something. There's an outbreak of malaria in the Moruga area. It is understood that the disease is being spreaded to locals by Venezuelans coming in. Insect vector control is currently in the process of spraying, but is under-resourced. So, listen to Trinidad and Tobago. When was the last time we had malaria in Trinidad and Tobago? Anybody can remember when last we had malaria? So what I want to ask Terrence Dial Singh now on national television, does the Insect Vector Control Department have the proper machinery, the proper chemical, the proper gears to execute their jobs? Now I want to let you understand something. The fire department in Trinidad and Tobago is begging for fireman gears, right? And malaria is a serious thing, a very, very serious thing in Trinidad and Tobago. So I want Terrence Dial Singh and his department, somehow or the other, you see how other ministries could allocate funds to purchase whatever. I want Terrence Dial Singh go to the Minister of Finance. Let the Minister of Finance allocate funding for the Insect and Vector Control Department in Trinidad and Tobago to control the malaria spread. There are apparently 5 individuals at the San Fernando Hospital. So before it go out of hand, and the ministry have to come and give the citizens 6, 4, and 9, Terrence Dial Singh, visit your vector control department and ask them what they need. Not what they want, what they need. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. This is a disease. So please attend to it. I will say that for now, because they don't have proper equipment. Well, we even talk about the medicine. We even talk about the gears. But nevertheless, I will get more information on Trinidad and Tobago and relate it to you. Listen to this. As the current state of emergency come to an end, on April 13, Acting Commissioner of Police, Junior Benjamin, have stated that the TTPS will continue to relentlessly effort and to sustain the peace and the security after this period. Benjamin said, there had been a decline in violent crime since the year began. Listen to Benjamin.
We will continue to have our operations. We will continue to do intelligence-led, evidence-based solutions. I think nobody has the panacea to crime. Crime is not static. It is dynamic, and therefore things can change. And therefore, I will not want to give, a promise that I cannot tell in terms of the future. What I can tell you is that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we are committed to see that we make Trinidad and Tobago safe again, and we will be doing all within our power to ensure that that is done.
Now, he also mentioned there was a 33% reduction rate in violent crime. You see, apart from violent crime, there are other crimes. He also added that the TTPS will continue the working of knocking out criminal activities. After the SOE, he said that the TTPS will be having more robust operation. Listen to this.
So to those who believe that after the SOE, well, the police, will be cooling down, I want to tell you, we'll be only waxing warmer and warmer. We are going to be outside there, and we are going to have more robust operations, and you will see more of us, because this will be the new mindset of the police. We are going to be in operational mode.
Meanwhile, Keith Scotland stated, although the SOE will not continue, the TTPS continues to push back against criminals.
There was a meeting of the National Security Council.
Listen to this now.
There was a meeting of the National Security Council yesterday afternoon. What Trinidad and Tobago can look forward to is an increased police presence throughout Trinidad and Tobago, along with all the organs of national security to ensure safety. I will say to you that we are still not satisfied with the levels of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. I will be honest, but we intend not to bury our heads in the sand and to work assiduously to try to make Trinidad and Tobago a safer place.
So Trinidad and Tobago, we have been hearing from all the ministers, they want to make it safe, they want to make it safe, they want to make it safe. All the TDPS police officers want to make it safe. All the ministers of national security gone by wants to make it safe. All the heads of the Security Council that went by wants to make it safe. 1.4 million people in a 2x2 country, and not one bloody hell minister, not one bloody hell minister in the Ministry of Security. Neither the head of the Security Council could make it safe. None. 1.4 million people. I can't say millions, I say billions of dollars are being spent on security. And we had a burglar-proof house like we in a jail. You think that right? You think that right? It's stinking sad that we as Trinbagonians, we are losing our freedoms. We're sleeping in our house like a jail cell. We get up in the morning, we open up our house, we had a lock, we burglar proof, and open the window. Like a bloody hell jail. But we go in jail and sit down. It's sad. It's stinking sad. You know what more sad? It's more sad to know that the Minister of National Security right now told us, and Keith Scotland is the Minister of Security now. Imagine that. Keith Scotland, Marvin Gonzalez, Keith Scotland told us to go back to Coal Pot and to go ride on a bicycle. So here it is. So instead of we go forward, he wants us to go backward. What What the hell kind of lawyer is that? Telling you, hey, go back to coal pot days. So you want us to go back and plant cane? You want us to go back and plant rice? There's no production for cane, there's no production for rice, but he telling me to go back in the days while he drive a nice executive car. When rain fall, he ain't getting wet, but he telling me to go back and ride bicycle. All ever hear more? And that's the people now, all up put in place, and Trinidad and Tobago had to say, yay! Like Saieed dotish, Saieed stupid. And when I stand up now to open all your eyes, hey, you're paying tax. You shouldn't have a pothole in front of your house. Saieed, you're bashing them. And when you drive in your car coming out your garage, you going on in the same pothole. I trying to get fixed for you. Your councillor doing it? When last you see him? What about your MP for the area? When last you see him? You had to make an appointment. You might have to wait 2 months to see him. Boss say, well, you know it have a hole in front of my house. Yeah, well, I know it have a hole in front of your house, you know. And 4 years he sitting on a chair. 4 years down the road, he telling you about the same hole in front of your house that you complaining to. Hey, all good, you know. We dumb, we dotish, and we stupid. You know why I say that? This man, oh God, I forgot his name, boy, up, Kumoto Manzalana side, decide to join the PNM on a big platform. We need schools. We need the road fix. 10 years the PNM in power. Them air fix your community, but you on a bandwagon. Hey! You know, in my community, we ain't have no road good, we ain't have no school. I listen to this man, and I said to myself, this man are going up for up there. He now get up from 10 years of sleeping. Now get up from 10 years of sleeping. But nevertheless, it's his business to go up, not mine. So Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this. Young warns UNC. Economic plan means $15 TT to $1 US. All listen to this.
I stand here today and warn Trinidad and Tobago that if the UNC gets into power on April 28, 2025, no matter what they say, they are going to devalue our dollars 15 to 1.
So said Prime Minister Stuart Young, speaking at Harris Promenade in San Fernando during the People's National Movement public meeting on Wednesday night. He revealed that he had consulted with Finance Minister Vishnu Danpal and others to examine the UNC plans and explain that this devaluation meant for citizens. So I want to ask Stuart Young now. I've been in finance for almost 30 to 35 years of my life, you know. Yeah. I've said that numerous times. Why would Stuart Young come out on a platform and say something like that? Why? Is there something in the mortar beside the pestle? Come on, Trinidad and Tobago. Let me give you a little hint of something. Remember when the PNM went to the retreat in Tobago? Former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley carried them there in Tobago to unveil his plan about Stuart Young being the next Prime Minister. Remember, they had to sign a document stating that they're going to support Stuart Young. Some okayed, some had plenty back, and I was like, nah, boy, we are supporting this now. They had no other choice. Sign the document or exit your office. Is it that you support Stuart Young, who I put in, or you exit your office? Bacchanal among the ministers. Do you remember that? Some support, some didn't. But when they came back to Trinidad, they had no other choice. Close your eyes and sign the document. Wherever you sign it, however you sign it, I will accept it. So I want to ask Choti now, after a consultation with the new Minister of Finance, Mr. Dan Paul, how could you come out and say that the UNC now is going to hit them $15 to $1 US? Where did that come from? If you listen to the words I am saying carefully, he revealed that he had consulted with Finance Minister Vishnu Dan Paul and others to examine the UNC plans and explain what this devaluation meant for citizens. Listen to this.
So I am putting Trinidad and Tobago on notice tonight. Our flour, our rice, our potatoes, everything that is imported is going to more than double in price. And that is the UNC's plan, as you heard said right here and as is in their document. And add to that the IMF coming in, slashing subsidies, attacking our workers.
How did he know that? That is my question. How did he know that? Is just something in the making that he is not revealing to Trinidad and Tobago about the IMF coming down and the amount of US currency we have in Trinidad and Tobago? But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, they say, when it's nice, we have to do it twice. So remember, Friday night show, Fire Friday, we go hot it up back again. But it's time for me to say good night for tonight. So until we meet again, viewers, be safe and enjoy the night.